Hello everybody, it's Brian here with some recent finds. I was thinking that it had been a long time since my last, pickups video, but it's only been about 3 weeks, so that dates back to the latter Buffalo days. And I only have 5 records to show you, one of which is VCLT, which I have not mentioned yet. And so to start, I'm going to have to rewind to before Buffalo. So before I went to Buffalo, David Atkinson came to town and we hung out for a bit. On the first day, we went to the St. Lawrence Market. Then we went to the Distillery District. That's all in videos. If you go back, you'll find those videos. And then we came back from the from the Distillery District in a slightly different route, and we ended up at another market near the St. Lawrence Market. Sort of outdoor market, had a white dome tent. I don't know if it's affiliated with the St. Lawrence Market or not. And we went in there and found a couple of record booths, and I bought a record. And this already has appeared in David's video, but I have not mentioned it yet. And that is from Modern English, their record After the Snow from 1982. Pretty nice cover on this one. You would think, given some of the other things that I've shown, that I would have already had every single Modern English record. But in fact, I only have one other one. And I'm just now trying to remember what the name of it is, and I don't remember. This one, of course, is well known for containing the track I Melt With You. Look, this used to belong to someone called S. Allen. If you can see it there. Someone wrote their name on it. So I Melt With You is on here. I think that song kind of overshadows the band's entire catalog. It was something, I think the Rolling Stone called it, this band, bland pop rock or something like that, or bland dance pop or something like that, which I actually get, because that song is so dissimilar to the rest of the band's output that if you put on one of their records, you'd expect to hear 10 tracks like that, and that's not what you're going to get. So it is a little dissimilar, maybe a little misleading. However, that is a fantastic song, and I think the band did a great disservice to that song because sometime after this, I don't know, was it 86 or something like that, they re-recorded that song for a record called Pillow Lips, which I just think was ridiculous. It was a stupid move. It does a disservice to the song. I think it's really dumb. And the song wasn't even in need of redoing, and the re-recorded version isn't any better than the original. In fact, it's a little too slick, I think. Kind of an unnecessary and pointless exercise. However, having said all of that, I don't even think I Melt With You is the best track on here. I would give that to Life in the Glad House, which I think has some really excellent drumming or programming. I think that's a really great song. I think it's their best song. And that's not to take anything away with I Melt With You. That's a great song. If we forget about the pointless exercise of re-recording it. But I think if you think this band is a one-hit wonder, maybe that's true, because that song really dominates their catalog, really. I don't remember what I paid for this, to be honest. The labels here. Look, see, S. Allen has written his name or her name right there. S. Allen. So, yeah. Pretty good. The highlight for me, as I already mentioned, is Life in the Glad House. That is a great song. And I Melt With You is a classic. That song's not going anywhere. Really great. Now, number 2, and I honestly can't remember where I bought this or how much I paid for it, but it's from Wah, a band I will forever now associate with MGK Boston. I know he's mentioned this band before. He's a big fan, and I just always think of him when I think of this band. This is the debut record from this band called Na Poo, The Art of Bluff from 1981. They were formed in 1970. I think I didn't mention that. Modern English was formed in 1979. This band was formed in 1979 in Liverpool. It's really Pete Wiley with some other people. And I find it really interesting. I would call this maybe one of the great forgotten albums, or maybe lost albums, because I think this should have been up there with other excellent records from the early 80s, and somehow it's overlooked or not really thought about. There's an insert in here. Here's part of it, and here's one side. And I haven't even read this, actually, to be honest. Yeah, so kind of a mini masterpiece in a way that many people don't even know about. And it contains probably the best track from Wah, which is 7 minutes to midnight, which is on side 2, I guess. Yeah, so I think this record should have been more well known. It's got that sort of, it's pretty upbeat, kind of frenzied post-punk record. And if you like that early 80s new wave thing that's going on, I think you might enjoy this record. You should check it out anyway. It's quite cool. Now, to a Canadian record from a guy called Owen Pallett. I'm going to show you the CD first, because for years I've had this CD. It came out in 2005. Get the insert here. This is what it looks like. And it's under the heading, or the name, Final Fantasy Has a Good Home. This is the original CD version from 2005. 13 tracks. There's the insert, or the opening, and then there's an insert with this compact disc, which is really great, actually. It has a lot of detail in it. Now, Owen Pallett recorded under the name Final Fantasy for years. And then he kind of abandoned it, because I have a number of Final Fantasy CDs. And then that was re-released in 2023 under his own name, Owen Pallett Has a Good Home LP. Same number of tracks. However, it doesn't have that insert. It just has this gatefold and then a plain inner sleeve, which is poly-lined, so nothing exciting there. His real name is Michael James Owen Pallett Plowright, I guess that's how you pronounce his name, who is a singer, a composer, a violinist, an arranger from Toronto. So because he plays the violin, there's violin all over this record. And if you don't like classical violin, you may not like it, but it's done in an indie rock style, and I think it's done intelligently. However, it's still there. There's a lot of violin, which you may not like. He sings in a really mournful way in some respects. It's not your most upbeat kind of music. It's very, in some respects, it's a little down. But it's tastefully done. And did I say 13 songs? 16 songs. I might have given you the wrong number of songs there. 16 tracks. It's pretty cool, I would say. So that's interesting. Not for party. It's not really party music. It may be Sunday morning music. Who knows? So pretty interesting. Now, I believe I saw this record on Morten Astad's channel, and when I saw it, I realized I didn't have it. And of course, I knew I didn't have it, but I kind of forgot. And that's Style Council, Home and Abroad, their live record from 1986. A record I just never picked up, although I really like this band. I don't know. I think they have one other live one, and then they reformed in the 90s. I don't have that record, but I do have everything else, I think. And this has 10 tracks. I don't know where they recorded. It says Home and Abroad, but who knows? And you could get this on cassette, compact disc, VHS, and Betamax, and LP, which is interesting. Pretty good track listing here. The funny thing is I wrote down a comment because in AllMusic, the critic wrote, Home and Abroad is a slick and earnest live set, but it's only of interest to die-hard Paul Weller fans. And yet I have it, even though I don't own a single Paul Weller CD or LP. I only have the Jam and Style Council. So there are 10 tracks in here. The CD has more tracks, which is kind of irritating, but I understand why, I guess. And the label, I will show you that. There we go. So pretty good record with some recognizable Style Council tracks such as My Ever-Changing Moods, Shout at the Top, Walls Come Tumbling Down, The Lodgers. Really good. I enjoyed that one. And then finally, I'll talk about a piece of VCLT I was given before Buffalo from Romuald, the French vinyl addict, who gave me this beautiful Bill Nelson record called The Love That Whirls, bracket, Diary of a Thinking Heart, end bracket. Now, of course, I have Bebop Deluxe on vinyl. I have some Bill Nelson's Red Noise, but for some reason, just Bill Nelson records, I didn't have any, but now I have one. Thank you, Romuald, for giving this to me. And as I was listening to it a couple times now, I was just blown away by how good it is. And it strikes me as one of those people. It's like, why wasn't this more famous? Why didn't he get more airplay? I know he did get airplay on certain places and he was known, but it didn't really break through really. So this has the classic track, Flaming Desire, of course, and Eros Arriving, which I think is fantastic. This is the double LP version. There's a single LP version which just has the single LP, and then there is this extra LP in here, which you can see right there. It says La Belle et la Bête, which I think translates to, it doesn't translate to anything. It says, to promote the love that whirls, a limited run of copies included an additional album entitled La Belle et la Bête, a second soundtrack with the Yorkshire Actors Company that adapted Jean Cocteau's film Beauty and the Beast for the stage. So I don't know much about that, but it's really cool to have it included. You may know more about that than I do. So there is all the labels look the same, but this is side 1 of the record. So pretty cool. And again, I was just really impressed by this record. As I was listening to it, I was like, yeah, this is really good. So it does encourage me, because Bill Nelson records are not that expensive, and I do see them from time to time. So when I'm out looking for records, I will definitely, well, I'm sure I will pick up some more Bill Nelson records. So that is it for today. Thanks for watching, and I will see you whenever the next video arrives.